Ahoy, my friends and family. It is I'm here. This is Trey. I'm here telling you today about discerning, hacking, and occupying humans. Some of the main themes of this video series, actually. Well, the April 8th solar eclipse has occurred, and yet despite all of the hype and fear porn, it seems nothing shocking occurred. There are no lies in the future ruling over us all. Sharp as a knife, facts cut a hole in the fall. So meet the new boss. Same as the old boss. The divine sacred goddess Christ Sophia Gnosis has been ruling all along. The change it had to come. The fear it better run. 'Cause the sacred Christ is in everyone. Discerning, hacking, and occupying humans. As I've said in other videos, this has been an ongoing theme for millions of years now. At least 1 million years. Well, the April 8th solar eclipse has occurred, and yet despite all of the hype and fear porn, it seems nothing shocking occurred. Transparency trumps transhumanism. Wow. Could it be we're in the age of mental clarity, or it's coming upon us? The so-called age of Aquarius is the age of mental clarity. You know, in Switzerland, the world's most famous hadron collider, Cern, was turned on and used to try to, from my opinion, to try to materialize or conjure some powerful anti-life dark overlords into the 3D, perhaps, or holographically terrify us with that. Even that didn't occur so far that I'm aware of. And yet it seems like nothing happened, but maybe secretly the Christ oneness wins. The entire planet Earth was locked down for months in 2020, right? And yet the Agenda 2030 New World Order is getting gunked up and clogged in its gears, even as they surveil me right now with planes. Yes, they have amazing surveillance and technology to keep everything, I think I just heard the governor just put hundreds of new security cameras in the Bay Area. And despite all of the amazing organization and mechanization of the thousands of members of the Council on Foreign Relations, CEOs of major Fortune 500 gunk companies and government officials who were in that group, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Illuminati, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, and all of their millions of obedient workers and slaves are so well orchestrated, the lockdown. Well, what happened? Why didn't something horrible happen yesterday, as far as I know? This entire channel has been about discernment and wisdom from my perspective, what I have learned in this flesh suit, and sharing my healing journey. Why are they still printing fiat paper bills? Like, I got some $5 bills that were brand new the other day. If they're about to turn off the money printing machine. Now, what if, since they took all the gold out of Fort Knox during the Nixon administration, what if the fiat paper money only has value because we believe in it anyway? So why don't we just believe in it as long as it's 30% hemp. It might last a couple of years. Just a theory I have. Let me know in the comments what you think about that idea. CBDC, Why are we still allowed to travel somewhat freely without extra levels of control? Well, Ron DeSantis did some lawsuits and they won. Why don't I have to wear a mask in public? That's the answer. I just answered that. Why is there never going to be compulsory or forced vaccination? Why would this very land be mine, actually legally, that I'm sitting on right here? Legally, possibly if I get the right lawyer, if we have the right hippie city council in that year, and I'm willing to pay the government the insane property tax of $1.2 million or whatever they would charge me for an acre of land here of this person's property. If I paid the government the insane property tax for 5 years, and should I pay it? Do you think I should pay the government or this person over here who kills cows for a living? It's an interesting question. Because in all of these occasions and cases, there were good-hearted humans in the structure of government. Infiltrators, white hats, if you will. Okay? I'm from a Navy family. There is such a thing as white hats. But they're not hidden. Like I say, it's Governor Kristi Noem. It's Governor Ron DeSantis. There were good-hearted humans in the structure of government. Real white hats who hacked into the mind control mainframe of corporate and government control systems and said, no, not in my state, not in Florida, not in South Dakota. Kristi Noem never locked down South Dakota, man. That's some courage. But it is a much less populous state, whereas California is about the 5th biggest economy in the planet Earth, they say, that this one state. So it's a lot of different economically. But still, they said, no, not in my state, nation, or country. Not in my body. My body, my choice. And yes, in my backyard. YIMBY. Freedom will regrow its roots if you allow people like me or whoever to share your property if they're respectful. Help you grow your cannabis or your vegetables, or simply just reside in their freaking tent in your backyard. You are supporting freedom. I will share my land. I will take care of this property, even if it is not mine legally. I'm taking like 10 bags of trash out of here, or 15. About 5 of them were mine, or 7. Until it becomes mine legally, out of respect and paying the man to make it legal, just because I don't like having the stress. I'm a grandson of a 33-degree Freemason, like I say. I'm not trying to go against the grain in the sense, but it's like I don't want to pay them the million, but I thought it's interesting that Bill Gates maybe he's trying to yank on my chain with that, but if it's like reading the daily newspaper, it's like a guilty pleasure. I don't really do it very often, but sometimes I'll scroll the MSN feed, and it's because Ron DeSantis on the dark side he's making it a heavy fine, suing all these squatters for squatting in houses, a heavier fine to try to get rid of it. The phenomenon of squatting, when it's heavily illegal to even sleep in your car in the state of Florida. I heard in most places that a friend of mine said in Walmart parking lot, the cops woke him up. And so you just have to be aware, and I just have respect for all beings, if at all possible, is my one of my feelings, my mottos. Remember the Occupy movement. Occupy everywhere. Edward Snowden and Julian Assange may still have to stay out of the USA for telling us all the truth about the deep state, the CIA, the FBI, dark side, the surveillance, even the corporately orchestrated CIA's hacking into all social media and cell phones. Dan Willis' webpage is called the webmatrix.net, and It's pretty incredible. It took me a few months to read it. He exposes hundreds of recently declassified documents that detail exactly how our U.S. government been created, usurped, and hijacked by Zeta Gray aliens and Nazis, and how these nasty characters created the CIA and NSA. It's pretty much open knowledge now. My friend Keith McHenry is from a CIA family. He told me about our 150 letter group, CIA, NSA middlemen, censors that work right here at YouTube who watch this video before anyone else gets to watch it. Okay? Yes, as we know, the dark controllers have done amazingly great jobs in mind control and evil things to hack us. Starting with Lucifer unplugging our DNA to make us slaves, maybe nearly 1 million years ago, or millions of years ago. I don't know how long ago. We all saw how censored, shadow banned, and even permanently deleted some very empowering YouTube channels were around 2020 and 2021. Like my friend Laura Eisenhower in the Journey to Truth podcast. You see, the Luciferian 1% criminal robber barons were often, and usually always, too cocksure, as with their retarded obedience to Lucifer and attempted flipping of karma and predictive programming like Event 201, an overt mainstreaming of Satanism. As Tyler of the aforementioned channel that got deleted always said, the dark ones always shoot themselves in the foot by being so cocksure, like our but they did a great job with the mainstreaming of Satanism, like our narcissistic personality disorder and solipsism epidemics, the real epidemics of our time. People are so dumb that they're even solipsistic, and the suffering from narcissistic personality disorder is so rampant, it actually is an epidemic. And that's why hundreds of people can even make money on YouTube talking about this one subject. Okay, we have Drag Queen Story Hour, hormone blockers for children, the continued promotion of the great moral virtue of being a hard-working, whipped wage slave, the virtuosity of being a whipped, compliant beta male who goes along to get along, and the human Shark Tank of actually having a biological family within the women's elimination movement, which is pure narcissistic Luciferian hubris. It has to be, because every single thing about the idea that it's righteous to delete and invert the divine order has its origins. And the story, look up the ancient story of Lucifer and research it half as much as I have, and tell me what you think. In all of these cases and many more, such as the attempted shutting down of small farms in Europe, and I heard in Oregon actually recently, both Europe and Oregon, many countries in Europe, several, half a dozen at least, and Oregon, I believe, because cow farts are destroying the environment. So now we have the states of Tennessee and New Hampshire banning geoengineering. We got to make it the whole continent. We got to make it the whole side of the planet here. And so we got to keep on fighting this battle until everyone realizes, or at least 51% of the world realizes, there's one family on this planet. It's called humanity. Because cow farts are not destroying the planet, okay? But geoengineering, could be drowning your town if you're on the coast. Sure, humans have been heavily mind controlled and have had at least 11 DNA strands unplugged by Lucifer eons ago, but we are not going to planet of the digital slaves, at least not more than half of the human population, tragically. Sure, the Dark Ones did a great job. I'll say it again. They did a great job of terrifying half the world and 3/4 of this county and this entire college into taking repeated injections of self-replicating nanotech and graphene dioxide colonies to create humans 2.0, the digital human hybrid remote-controlled slave race. But guess what? We've had the injected exposure, a lot of the evil intents right on YouTube, such as we've had people who took the experiment, such as Dr. Drew and Jimmy Dore. We've had chosen ones on the side of freedom, like Jack Herrera and Valerie Corral, for example, who between Jack Herrera and Valerie Corral and Dennis Perone and their lawyers, they created Proposition 215 in the state of California, which created the first medical cannabis law ever in the USA. Some Jewish, fully Semitic, Hebrew, 100% Jewish people that, were on the side of respect, equanimity, equal respect for all beings, freedom. So they created the medical cannabis movement. MDs and lawyers like Viva Frey, governors like Kristi Noem's and at times DeSantis, bucking the fucking U.S. the fucking U.S. all with fake mandates and Archon gangster systemic rules like we see here in California, all around the planet. All around planet Earth, we've seen the reemergence of awareness of what true human freedom really means. Okay? We've had millions of years of Stockholm Syndrome, trauma bonding to dark ET forces, to the dark side, to Lucifer, to the reptilians, to the Anunnaki, through wars, through coercion, through rape, through blood drinking, through hybridization, through DNA unplugging, through humans 2.0, for millions of years, escalating trauma to this war on control of planet Earth and humanity. The war has been growing and growing and growing. But guess what? They're breaking the rules, as I said. They're all breaking the original rules of this planet and this species, which is free of free will, freedom of choice, freedom what you put in your body, and freedom of what you think and say, which is also, thank goodness, the original experiment with the Constitution on this soil here we call United States of America. So we have to learn what freedom really, we've seen the re-emergence recently of the awareness of what true human freedom really means. After millions of years of this torture and its great importance, the freedoms we have in the USA influence the entire globe. And then they say influence freedom within the entire galaxy. Okay? To assert our true original rights adamantly is to shake the entire galaxy out of the zombie traumatized obedience to oblivion through almost endless war for hundreds of years now, at least with the Dark Ones here running the shots. We were truly made in the image of the real divine Christ, Sophia, and we are remembering in peace. Fifth dimensional awareness, gradually through the whip or through the meditation. Some have to learn the hard way. Heart-based living is our divine birthright. And we are waking up to it. The fact And even if you took the injection, I don't know, if you take enough nattokinase, maybe you won't die of a myocarditis or robotics. You know, I myself got the so-called COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 gain-of-function flu bug here from being in the atmospheric river for a few months. I didn't have my raw milk for a few days one time with non-stop fake rain, engineered rain for drizzle for 3 months. 90 farms went out of business in this county alone in the year 2023. I don't know about this year because I escaped it for a few moons here, so heart-based living is our divine birthright, and we are waking up to it. We have been learning how adept, ubiquitous, and dialed in the Dark Lord's mind control programs are with the mainstream media, wage slavery, out of control rents that keep skyrocketing, voice control, voice to skull technology, xenophobia blasted and promoted throughout all social media up to YouTube, and the very sick prevalence of narcissistic psychopaths, sociopaths, and humans under the black hole perception of narcissistic personality disorders, and all the way down to the black hole of narcissistic predator entities. They're everywhere. We are dismantling the mental architecture that supports these criminals' soul-sucking, hoovering, and threat-based coercions and endless wars from within ourselves, if we have the courage and discernment to do so, with strong discernment of the patterns. Okay, this is how the shadow work is done. We have to first notice the patterns of deceit, notice the patterns of deception and mind control that destroy you on the subconscious level, and do the heavy shadow work to destroy the parasites and pathways they utilize within our psyches. I'm talking about the parasites within your own mind if you're narcissistic, and if you are empathic and you let them walk on you, or what's called a borderline personality disorder. The converse, the black hole person that doesn't feel any ego that does whatever they're told. Okay, you have to work on that. You have to respect yourself enough to create your own space and meditation, your own moments to live out your own dreams, if they're harmless and respectful. We are learning rapidly how to biohack and cleanse both our 3D flesh suits and our minds, and thus ultimately our entire soul, mind, body, and collective soul of humanity, even after half the world took the experiment. Even some people who took the experiment are such brilliant beings that they can somehow still function and side on the good on the good side, like the Dr. Drew family, like I said, with and through discernment, as Dr. Drew calls it, the rational revolution of actually thinking again, and the psychological hard work of reclaiming our minds, bodies, souls, hearts, and lands. We are now entering the beginning of the era of human freedom, the age of ascension, and the real new era of light, real light, the true Christ Sophia, the real new era of light. This light of the divine Christ Sophia within burns away the stolen control of the false world, of the fake fluorescent light of Lucifer, when they could somehow fully control you through 3D control, through your ego, your depression or narcissism, your psychopathy, your spiritual retardation, your obedience to the stupid. With the awareness of Sophia, we remember we are the peace. We are harmless. We are the one in control over the future When 51% of humankind, when 51% of folks wake up from all of the escalating, sick, inverted, mainstream madness, we reject both forms of mind control, fear porn and hopium. Okay? We're not falling into the victimizer, faulty, salvationist, get on your knees and suck it. Faulty salvationist narratives, newly refurbished and freshly painted, so that Jesus or Quetzalcoatl are now called the Galactic Federation of Light, coming to save you in their saucer arcade. Save us from the evil planet, of this evil planet with their saucers. Every day, less humans try to stay alive within the lies. Less humans would be gullible enough to join the Heaven's Gate cult, for example. Less humans will be gullible enough to take the Kool-Aid or even the injection experiment ever again these days. We are waking up to our bodies, minds, and souls to see the forces of darkness are imposters, like I say, fake junior gods. They only became gods because of our weakness, because we don't have the higher octaves, as Laura Eisenhower calls the higher octaves of the planet Saturn, which represents discipline and discernment. The covert, narcissistic people and individuals in your life and the system itself try to rule over us. But if you're willing to do the shadow work and the footwork to wake up, it's over. We are gradually hacking into our own minds. Even a fraction as well as Lucifer did, man. We are gradually hacking into our own minds, bodies, beliefs, governments, and clubs to take back our lives as we remember we are the rightful owners of these flesh suits and these voices and these spirits. And we are gradually learning how to live in peace, harmlessness, discernment, and respect and freedom in this powerful moment, this eclipse moment. We learn peace and freedom are the future, yet only if we participate from communities who are willing to do the work and unlock the mind cages from within and then free our bodies. So we try to free our bodies first, or we try to, you can go crazy or haywire and they can get at you. Then free our bodies and places and friends if we can, if you're that strong, you know. Be as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Be a beacon of light shining in this dark world through your discernment and your willingness to live your dream in peace, harmlessness, discernment, and respect, if we can. There has supposedly been a lot of guardian grid work, you know, these psychics who work with these, divine beings, clearing out portals and stargates. They claim they've been clearing out portals and stargates and ley lines from demons, archons, and actually clearing ancient spiritual masters like Archangel Michael out from underground prisons where they were trapped. It's called grid work. Look it up on YouTube, grid work. And satanic ritual abuse centers and caves and sacred centers all around the planet, and that they've actually been successful. It's kind of like what Q was saying, but on a deeper level, but it's similarly hard to prove. No, the Hellites aren't giving up. Okay, the dark side is not. This doesn't mean the dark side is giving up. They'll never give up. However, it is now, until the moment Lucifer wants to be fully, really enlightened. However, it is now becoming known that they're heartless and soulless criminals, not rulers, not gods, not deities worth worshiping. The sick intentions of the 1% criminal robber barons is out on the table. Since 2020, we could all see it. Like I said earlier in this video, Tyler Quebb from the Journey to Truth podcast on Rumble now, he says the deep state or the dark side shoot themselves in the foot every chance they get, and every step of the way, he said. They paid Anthony Fauci $450,000 a year. He was paid much more than the president to do what he did as the highest paid government official. Why is that? Because the big boys are up there. They created the Fed. They're working in there trying to infiltrate our world into what they want. And so it's all been exposed now. Now my question is in the so-called New Age, what if could it be possible that Joseph Ladapo, who is the Florida Surgeon General under Ron DeSantis, could become our next chief medical Fauci type chief head officer of medicine of USA? A man who wrote a book called Transcending Fear. That's what I think. That's my prediction, folks. My prediction is Joseph Ladapo will be the next chief medical officer of the USA. A man who wrote a book called Transcending Fear. The Florida head surgeon general. What do you think? Put in the comments. Nothing. You see, the sick intentions of the 1% criminal robber barons are so out on the table. They, like I say, being cocksure is their biggest flaw. By 2030, you will own nothing and be happy, and you will eat crickets. Klaus Schwab has said openly, and he put that in his book and his speeches. So why did he have to take these pages that stating this insane idea off his World Economic Forum website? Well, because, like I say, the dark side are brilliant in organization and insane inverted ideas and pushing them on you, but not so much at having any empathy or heart or awareness of human discernment. Pushback against all of the inverted, orchestrated, planned obsolescence and attempted steering of humanity into the black hole of Abaddon in oblivion, literally, through all that they have done. You got to see that we are at the end of this endless war, ending it from within in awareness, doing your best to discern the divinity within yourself with equanimity, joy, compassion, and friendliness. The Buddha's four immeasurables, or what those are called. One of my few lists that I cite out here. I really resonate sometimes in my shadow with Marianne Williamson's what Marianne Williamson said, and she said that our greatest fear is not that our fear is not of our greatness. That our fear is not of our inadequacy or that we can't do it. That our greatest fear is that we are more brilliant than we could imagine. We have a fear even of the freedom of our mind, unless it's at least 96% awake, you're still afraid of it. Doing your best to discern the divinity within yourself with equanimity, joy, compassion, and friendliness. Realize the Saturn moon matrix memory wipe, forced reincarnation, slavery, planetary system has no rights in the beginning, and soon we're all going to have to accept the fact that in the end they stole everything that they claim dominion over now. It has no rights, but you, the divine human, do belong. You belong here in this beautiful place. in this sacred place. We are learning what sovereignty really means. Once again, for the first time in a long time, through a lot of wars and suffering and trauma bonding with the Dark Ones in their endless loose fest. We are learning what sovereignty really means. Occupy everywhere, folks. Remember the Occupy movement? Occupy in peace and respect, and don't leave trash. You dwell in peace, always remembering the one in all. We are the living. We, the living, create the real beginning. The real beginning of the age of light, the age of human awareness. We've had these dark beings convincing us to be idiots for millions of years. This is the beginning of the age of the end of human idiocy and the beginning of human light. Light awareness of the true Creator, Christ, in all of us. You've been given amazing biohacking tools on this channel and many hundreds of other channels on YouTube, Odyssey, and Rumble, and many, probably dozens of other internet websites. The internet itself is an amazing gift of gnosis and discernment and learning. Meditation of all sorts, modern psychology, all the healing of narcissistic abuse and all the things we've learned about psychology, plant medicines and cannabis, and now psilocybin magic fungi are legal in this town, and all of the gnosis I've given you here. What will you do with them? What will you do with all the tools I've given you here? What will you do with all of the wonderful gifts of freedom, learning, and awareness that you've gained from all the hundreds of people that you might have studied here online? Once again, as a freed slave, psychologically at least at first, you will have to work on your victimhood and CPTSD, or covert post-traumatic stress disorder, or complex stress disorder. But what will you do with your freedom of choice? What will you do when you realize you really have freedom of choice, man? It is the most exciting time to be alive ever. In that moment when you're really born again, when you really feel that flash of enlightenment, when you really remember you have that choice. What will you do then? This earth and body will, for lifetimes of creativity. Thank Bill Gates for the contrast. Thank the Nazi officer's son, Klaus Schwab. Thank Lucifer. Thank the evil idiots who try to destroy you with their tyrannical narcissism, because they gave you that contrast to help you remember that you're free. This earth and body for lifetimes, maybe as long as you want, will be your canvas, wet clay, or inspired mind holding a musical instrument. The Maha Musicata is within you. Look through the eyes of your heart. Humanity's heart, or humanity's heart. What do you see? What amazing melody, painting, or invention will you create when you've hacked back into your brain and your mind and soul and heart, and return your flesh suit, body, mind, and soul, your whole life, to its rightful owner? You. What will you create? In the beginning of humans becoming free, post-amnesia. You know what? If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to let me know what you think, let me know what you think. And whether you're a hermit or with the human family, only online or on somebody's live chat, or you upload videos, or you're actually with your bloodkins, however you are, you're kissing your girlfriend, or you're with people you can't stand to look at. In whichever situation you might find yourself, in a legal or illegal, wild and free or trapped situation, remember, if you are willing to take on the duty as a inspired and souled spirit in a human flesh suit, and you have the courage or the so-called space-time to do so in the timeless now, and you're ready, if you have the courage, create a great one, my family. It's one of the Aboriginals' 10 Commandments. Create something today. Create a great day. Loving you, my family.